Hi, Jill.
Hi, Sam.
Happy Friday to you.
Oh my God, thank God it's Friday. It's been a week,
Yeah,
man.
I like following your updates that you post on your timeline because it makes me feel very seen and understood and just I don't know if I've ever seen someone like actually be so honest about what it's actually like running a small business day to day, and like I really enjoy following your posts about it.
I have purposely done that. And one of the reasons is I've actually had people email me all the time, message me on Facebook, whatever, and say that they want to be me when they grow up, and I'm like, yes, but you have to know what like it's really like. And sometimes it's really stressful and sometimes all the computers break at once and sometimes, just crazy things happen. And, one of the dangers of social media is only presenting only the good stuff.
Yeah,
Because
yeah,
then when your own life is crazy, you feel like you're the only one.
yeah, it's true. Yeah, I think I sometimes fall in that in that side of things. Just like I'll post like all the cool, fun things about getting to make jewelry and all the fun side of the business, but there's a lot of other things to day that like yeah, I guess I don't even ever think about sharing, but like no, that's like actually what often like a lot of time goes towards.
Yeah, it's so true. If somebody had told me that I was going to spend most of my life behind a spreadsheet when I started the bead business, I would have been like, really? But
I don't think
honestly, that's
I understand the spreadsheet enough for I mean, because we use a spreadsheet to prep all of our listings for the live sales. We use a spreadsheet to plan every single bead box and every calendar for the bead box.
yep.
Um, and so I feel like those are the main spreadsheets I spend like so much time in, and then and plenty of other spreadsheets and timesheets and all those things.
Hmm.
And they're all
Yeah.
wonderful things. Like I mean, like it's all like I'm so glad to be able to do this business. Like don't
Oh,
mistake
yeah. We
that.
are so lucky. So, so lucky. But there's a
But
lot of drudgery too.
I think it is like oh I appreciate your honesty and being willing to share that side of things too.
Yeah. Well, I don't want anybody to think that my life is perfect because it's not.
Yeah. But you do have a cute dog and you work with your mom, so there like maybe it seemed like there's some pluses um
Total
going on
pluses.
for you.
Yeah, we started bringing Poppy, who's the one dog that we have left, and we started bringing her to work now. So she's a work dog, which is great. But she's so obsessed with my mother
Hmm.
that now I like get to spend no time whatsoever with her. And so now, like, I already had like that much time with Poppy because I'm definitely the number two mama. But now I'm like number 36 on the list or something, and I'm not really sure how that happened. Like behind the Amazon delivery driver guy now, definitely behind Corey and RJ here at work. They get more attention than I do. So yeah, she puts me in my place.
That is too funny. So, everyone just joining us, I'm Sam of Sam's Bead Shop, and this is the wonderful Jill Wiseman. We're live on all of our pages right now, so hopefully, we're getting to meet some new folks today and kind of intermix a little bit because
Yeah.
I don't know. Jill and I hit it off at Tucson, and I just like knew I wanted to get to work with Jill more in the future because Jill's good bead vibes at the end of the day.
Same. Same. I'm the old guard and you're the new guard, and it just makes sense that we should meet in the middle. You know.
Old guard, never.
Kinda.
You just
But that's
have
okay.
lots of experience and can stitch anything, literally
Mostly
anything.
anything.
Yeah.
Mm. So
What's the
I
wildest thing you've ever stitched?
I've used Fireline to stitch a hem before. Does that count?
Just a hem on like on
A
a.
hem. Yeah. When I was like traveling and the hem started coming out, I was like, I've got needles. I've got Fireline. It'll work as thread. Let's stitch the hem. So I mended a hem with my Fireline.
That's impressive. I'm shocked you didn't add beads while you're at it.
I should have
Yeah,
because
missed opportunity.
I know, man. I wasn't. I thinking about that. Jeez.
So what are we here for today, Jill?
So we're making earrings
We are.
because well, so here's the reason we're making earrings, y'all. It's because I was nervous about doing this live with Sam and actually having to create something. And Sam was like, okay, we're going to make, he's so sweet. He's like, we're going to make this as low stress as possible. It's not going to be a contest. It's not going to be, a throwdown or anything. We're just going to sit together and we're going to make something, let's make something small. Earrings. We're just going to do earrings. So that's why we're doing earrings today because I was scared.
Yep. And I'm telling myself I have to keep my earrings simple. I'm going for like quick gift style earrings. So
Very good idea.
I grab 10 ear wires and I have maybe those ear wires will get filled today with some simple earrings and that'll be wonderful. Maybe a few of them will. We shall see. So
Well, yeah, because the fun thing is that we sent each other beads to use.
we did a
So
bead
wait till
swap.
you
So
see. Yeah,
Jill runs what's your URL? It's jillwisemandesigns.com.
Yep.
So Jill sent me some goodies from her shop. She has so many seed beads and fire polish and check, and it's kind of incredible the variety you carry. I also love that you have like
Well,
every color. Like I went to look at your formula of fire polish, and you're like, would you like every color that exists?
yeah, we've got like 350 or something. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I've got like another 100 sitting here waiting to be added.
Yeah. So folks, if you're looking to get all the fire polish, it looks like you have lost like 2 to 4 millimeter fire polish is your specialty.
Yes. Yeah. We were kind of dabbled. We just started dabbling in the 6 millimeter. I've got some more to add, but really because I came out of the bead weaving world
Yeah.
where we want small stuff. 2 to 4 millimeter is about as big as we usually use.
Yeah, and it's kind of it's so fun scrolling your selection. So Jill sent me some goodies. So I haven't even actually I'm gonna open up my package with all of you in a moment.
Ooh,
I
yay.
just haven't looked through, and I sent Jill a few gems for the shop and like a few matching check. I tried to pick out check that I didn't think necessarily you had. So because we do have such actually
You did
pretty,
good.
it's cool. I think we kind of carry some different types of things.
Hmm.
So I don't know, y'all. If you kind of combine the inventories together, you could have quite the bead stash.
I know it. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you're definitely more gemstone kind of person. That's your main focus. We both kind of do the check glass,
Hmm.
but we definitely have different stuff. And then, of course, I've got a lot of the seed bead stuff, the 2 hole beads for bead weaving, things like super duos and ginkgos and gem duos and all that kind of stuff. So that's another place that I have a wide variety
I
of
did
beads.
send Jill 1 2 hole bead.
You did, and I'm so proud of you, and I really like it, and I haven't even seen it before.
Yeah, that was a recommendation from Danielle Wicks. That's the rhombus bead that she
Ah,
loves.
yeah,
So I was like, oh, I don't know if Jill's had this exact bead. So I also did a little packet of these. They kind of match the
yeah,
palette. We did this whole Mother's Day palette. So why don't we kind of take a look and show folks the palette we're working with today?
yeah. Let me switch my camera around so that you can see that.
All right, while Jill's doing
Here,
that, grab,
let me do this.
let's see here.
Oops. Well, come on,
Okay.
baby.
So we've got, I think your camera might be paused, but I'm sure you're just flipping it. This is the package that Jill sent me. It actually also has I placed an order on Jill's first live sale. She friggin' rocked it, and she had these stunning, oh my gosh, they're so pretty. First, I'm gonna unpack my live sale order. So oh my gosh. I've never seen like glass beads. If you have more of these, I probably will buy them. Oh my,
I do. We can talk because I've got them in different shapes too.
oh my goodness, Jill. Okay, so I might use
Yeah.
those today, but then let's see the palette you actually put together for me. We've got
Well,
this
I was
giant.
definitely mirroring what you sent me, so color wise.
Uh-oh, our audio got kind of funky. Did you know if anything might have gotten bumped with your microphone?
I had walked across the room. I'm back now. Is it better?
It's maybe you just reconnect them if you're able. If you're still using your headphones, reconnect them. It probably will fix it.
Okay. Let me try that.
I'm gonna mute Jill for just a moment here while she adjusts.
Figure this out.
All right, so Jill sent me this giant tube of seed beads. What am I gonna do with this many seed beads? But they're gorgeous. They are a perma finish lilac opal. in Toho. Oh, I think I've played with a little bit of these before. We've got a Duracoat in this beautiful carnation pink. And let's see. Wow, there's a lot in here. I love, this is very color of the year. We've got a fire polish rondelle here, and it's like a two-tone glass. It's so cool to see that Jill's able to grab some of these. This is really hard to find. All right, let me unmute Jill. Hello,
Okay.
Jill.
I had to disconnect the earbuds.
Okay.
So we're just going to go with the iPhone.
Cool. Do you want to switch to horizontal to landscape?
I've got the camera in landscape mode.
Let's see. For some reason, oh, there you go. Now put it down.
Okay. Let me put it back into the holder. See, this is the part that I have to get used to, is all this tech stuff. Like I can't even see my screen, so hopefully it looks okay.
Yeah, it looks currently, I think it'll work. Can folks see? Looks like Jill's, yeah, I can see it pretty clearly. I'm going to zoom in on both of our trays.
Okay, cool.
Can you see that now?
No, because I've got the camera, I've got the phone, upside down. Let me get on. I went and grabbed an iPad so I could get on Facebook and watch our stream from there, and I can see it there that way.
This is one thing I've never really dabbled with, is Czech pearls. I've heard you have some nice quality ones.
I do. The Czech pearls, actually, when I'm in the Czech Republic in a couple of weeks, I get to show people. We're going to get to go visit the factory that makes my Czech pearls, which is very cool. And they make sure that each pearl is dipped 7 times before it's finished. So it's a big thing to get done.
Yeah, these are gorgeous. The coating looks oh yeah, because that's the reason I haven't done too much, is I hadn't found ones that I liked enough. So I'm so excited to play with these.
Yay!
2 sizes. Oh my goodness. So we have these. Let's see what the color of this one was. It was Seafoam in the 6mm.
See, I was nice. I sent you some 6mm.
Thank you so much. Because I thought, I was worried Joe was only going to send me CBs. I'm like, Joe, what am I going to do with all these CBs?
I was tempted.
And you also sent me this little baby pearl. These are so cute, y'all.
Well, and they're really nice, because one of the things about the Czech pearls is that they, when they strand them for us, they actually go through them and they cull out any bad ones. Mm-hmm. So when you're getting, a strand of 50, you're getting 50 usable pearls. And sometimes when you get Czech pearls that are from other people, they're cheaper, whatever. The trick is that you're going to have to cull out probably 10% of them, because the holes aren't right, or, there's issues with the coating or whatever. With ours, that's already been taken care of for you.
Yeah, these are gorgeous. So let me finish going through this palette, and then you can remind me what the heck I sent you. So you got me some amazing fire polish. Y'all, you have to get every single bead in this that Jill just sent. I just grabbed the 11mm square flowers.
Oh yes, love those. And I think you've had those before, right?
Yeah, we call them cowgirl flowers.
Cowgirl flowers.
We like our fun names.
I like that. Well, I was really, very, very creative, and I called them square flowers. So
that name does make a lot of sense.
I think that shape is so unique. It's just not something you see with flowers very often, and I was really drawn to those.
This fire polish is really pretty. I'm gonna probably do something with those. We've got crystal amethyst and a gold luster on them, 50-piece strand.
So that particular fire polish I picked up when I was in the Czech Republic this last time. I was able to go into one of the factory's backstock rooms, and it's this ginormous room just full of, rack after rack after rack of treasure. I mean, and you're literally just digging through all of their overage. When they make things, they frequently will end up with overage, and that's what's in this room, and you can just find what you want and tell them how much you want of it. And those fire polish were one of my treasures that I found on this last trip.
Well, that sounds like fun, like too much fun. dangerous.
Yeah, it's very dangerous. Yes, it is.
Wait, this just keeps going. You sent me so much. And, ooh, matte Preciosa bicones, Caribbean Sea AB. These have cool AB on them. I love when they do the matte on top of the AB.
Me too. That's that super frosty look.
I might have to save a few of these for like some summertime because I love these.
Yeah.
And then you also sent me 2 giant tubes of sea beads. Oh my goodness. Plus, I have all my live sale goodies. So I have so much fun to play with here. I think don't you think Jill nailed? Oh wow, it's like you knew how many spaces I had in my tray.
Why, yes, that's true. I did know.
All right, now what the heck did I send you? I think it was last week.
I know, but it's so gorgeous. But look at this, because you sent me enough for like 50 pairs of earrings too. So it was only fair that I sent you that much also. I'm going to be making jewelry from this little collection for like the next 2 weeks because I've got so many ideas and they're just gorgeous. So let me see here. We'll start at the top. These are ruby chips, and you can see I'm already playing with these. Because I just think the ruby is such a beautiful color. It's kind of that bluey red, you know. I don't really do orange tone reds, but the blue reds are gorgeous.
Mm-hmm.
So I went straight for those. The 2-hole rhombus beads that you were talking about from that's from John Bead, right?
Yeah, exactly.
They're gorgeous.
Danielle is all over those.
Yeah, Danielle is such a creative person. She's incredible when she gets her hands on a new shape and manages to play around with it. It's just so cool. And these guys, love these guys too. And these have 2 holes also. Because there's a hole on either side. Did you even realize? So I just thought these were very fun. You can tell that they're kind of vintagey looking check.
They remind me of because how they hang, they're like an upside down rainbow once they're hung.
Yeah, well, see, and I totally would. I'm trying to think. I want to do them kind of hanging on chain or something, kind of, up and down like this. Is kind of what I was thinking. This poor guy lost his point. There we go. So I still have to kind of figure out functionally how to do that, but I have some ideas. And then you gave me these big gonzo guys, which are so beautiful. The color on this is so deep because a lot of times you'll see these and it's they're really pale and pastel-y, but these have gorgeous color. And I texted Sam right before this, and he actually sent me 3 of these, and I might have accidentally cheated. And did this with one of them. So because I had to get a little bead weaving in there, I just had to, but I didn't think I was going to have time on our live. So I did brick stitch around one of these beads and then used some of these strawberry quartz over here on the edge. And that all kind of brought it in. It almost kind of, you can see how it kind of cups inward. So I'm thinking this will be a gorgeous pendant right here. I think it needs some kind of tassel action down here. And then I think it's going to be an incredible pendant. So I had a lot of fun with that this afternoon.
How do you build the brick stitch around it? Because like I'm used to only doing brick stitch like on a frame sort of piece.
Right. It's magic, Sam. So we should do a class. You want to do a class? Let's do a class.
I want to do. I want to do everything.
Well, yeah, me too. But this is something we could definitely do. What you do is you anchor a thread around the outside on both sides.
Okay.
And then you're using the thread to brick stitch around.
Okay, I can't pretend like I haven't seen it now because now you're ringing some bells.
Yep. So it's a very fun technique because it allows you to create that brick stitch around almost anything. The trick is just learning how to kind of turn the corners and that kind of thing with the brick stitch. So these are things that I brought in. So we're going to ignore those right now. The Amazonite is so gorgeous.
That's fun. I thought you might be fun to play around with 2 different shapes. So I sent you the square Hishis and the smoother rondelles. I got both of those in Tucson. when we were there shopping together, and I just love them.
Oh yeah, for sure. And then some gorgeous check beads again. The maple leaf flower shape is my favorite flower shape. Not flower, sorry, leaf shape from the Czech Republic. I just think it's so classic and gorgeous. The mold on this is just beautiful.
Totally agreed.
And this is a super fun cut.
Isn't that cool? I think it's
Yeah.
lightning bolt, but I don't remember what I have it labeled there as.
I've got the label off to the side. I don't remember. Nope,
totally blanking. It's a table cut oval, essentially.
Yeah, it's table cut. Nope, that's
groovy. Oh, we call it the groovy oval, I think.
Groovy. Okay, yep, that's it. Groovy oval, and this is the pink opal bronze. Not to harp too much on my trip to the Czech Republic, but we get to see.
More jealous, Jill.
One of these days, I'm going to get you there with me.
I'm fairly certain that will happen.
Yay! But we get to see the table cut process happening. So, and you get to understand how labor intensive it is. And at that point, you're like, I really should be paying like 3 times this for these beads.
Right. I've heard stories. Like, does it take forever?
Yeah, because what they do is, they create a fully rounded bead. And then they have to go, they've got a plate, it's literally like a dinner plate size, that they glue each individual bead down on this plate. And then they attach it to the machine, and the plate is put with this open side down, and it grinds off to create that table cut action. So then once they've finished with one side, then they have to remove the glue, take all these beads off, and then turn them over and glue them down to do the second side.
And I've heard a lot of times like remove the adhesive and blah, blah,
yeah,
blah.
Exactly. And they can only do it one dinner plate at a time. And, and it's not just one round of grinding. So there's one round of grinding, and then you have to polish, and then there's the super polish, so there's steps just even in the grinding. So when you realize how few they can make in a single day's work, you all of a sudden have a lot more appreciation for these table cuts.
Yeah, I mean, I've always known them to be like a pricier check offering, and like
exactly
because the time involved.
Yeah, when you see that, it's totally the time involved. Yeah, there's one guy who sits there in the room and does it all day long. So that's just crazy.
Wow.
Yeah. And then you sent me these beautiful little Jill size, because they're 3 millimeter.
I thought that'd be nice in between. It's like, oh, if I send Jill an itty bitty gem, then it's almost like a seed bead.
Yeah, exactly. And that's exactly what you wrote on there, was itty bitty strawberry shorts. And I'm like, yeah, exactly. So yeah, that's the size I like to work with. And then I just kind of went through, and because I knew that I needed some stuff to kind of round it out, so I got some little 2 millimeter, I'm sorry, not 2 mil, 3 mil daisy spacers from our friends at Tierra Cast.
Lovely.
Just adding that little metal touch in there makes such a big difference. I have ideas, so I've got a couple of pieces of chain for myself, and and then just the usual. I made sure I had some jump rings and some ear wires, and I've got some head pins, and I had to go down to a 26 gauge head pin for the ruby.
Yeah.
But luckily I have those, and I've got some eye pins if I want to work with some of the bigger beads. So yeah, I've got a gorgeous assortment here.
I'm very excited. How do you start in these when you have, how does Jill start?
I actually spent some time this afternoon kind of communing with them and thinking about them, because with me it's always a challenge. Do I want to bead weave it something, or do I want to use other techniques? And so what I decided is I really wanted to make some cluster earrings for myself.
Yeah.
So that's where I decided to bring this chain out. Is I'm probably going to create some clusters and just bring it down, as a long elongated cluster, because like with the rhombus beads, I think I want to do bead weaving with those. I was thinking that, let's see here, these guys, with them being the hole being this way. Oops, there we go. Oh, I put it on backwards so that
Jill, are you able to move your camera over slightly to center it a bit by chance?
Let's see here. Is that any better?
Yeah, that's lovely.
Okay. I was kind of thinking about this with these guys, kind of bringing chain in from each side and then hanging things off the bottom. And then probably chain up at the top, kind of, mimicking this V shape.
That's so clever. I haven't actually like played around with those triangles in the shop yet, and now I see it.
Yeah, so it's always the way the holes are oriented. Obviously, makes a big difference in your designs. I decided that for me personally, these were going to be too big, too heavy for my earlobes, and that's why I wanted to play with making a pendant.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I knew I had a risk. I was like, I'm sending a larger bead. I don't know what Jill likes for earrings.
I sat there and held them for a while, and I was like, do I think my ears will handle this anymore? I decided my old lady earlobes couldn't handle it.
So pendant it was.
The pendant it'll works, but that way, see, now everything's going to go with it. I did go a little off rogue with my color palette there. I brought a blue in instead of a seafoam, mainly because I was too lazy to get up and go find the right color bead. And these were on my desk. Oh, am I supposed to be admitting that stuff?
Oh, I love grabbing things from my desk. I mean, I think that's what most people actually are doing, because like at the end of the day, you gotta use what you do have. Like if you're trying to sit down and make a project, the time is then to capture that creative energy and just make something. It doesn't have to be the perfect color and everything. Like, just start.
Oh yeah, definitely. And I think that's probably my biggest thing with when I have so many different options for beads here. It's just, I grab a head pin, I start building on it. Do I want this to be a dangle? Do I want it to be a bunch the same? Do I want it to set something else off?
Mm-hmm.
So I think designing off of a head pin, and then that can kind of give you some ideas of where you want to go with it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm making a very simple pair of earrings to start here, just to get myself like kind of creative juices flowing. And like, I did not plan. I literally started by putting on the flowers onto head pins. I was like, well, something will happen if I put on the headband. I know something will happen.
Yes. Well, and if you're going to be making a bunch of stuff, like especially like if you are, I don't know, getting ready for a craft show or something, if you sell your pieces, I've always thought that there's always somebody for everything that you make. So even if your first couple pieces you don't love them, you know what? Put it out there anyway, because somebody's gonna love it. My mother and I used to have a running joke that the ugliest piece you made was going to be the first thing that somebody bought. Oh my God, it happened so often.
I've heard a similar thing from the bead seller before. They told me, they're like, sometimes if I buy like the ugliest thing I can find, it sells the best for me.
Yeah.
I was like, I mean, I've never tried that, and I don't actually find that, but that's wild.
It just goes to prove that there's something for everybody out there. And frequently, if somebody grabs something that you think is ugly, on them it looks really good.
That's
sometimes
true.
It's just their personality, their coloring, what clothes they wear, that kind of thing can make a big difference.
So you've started experimenting with your first live sales. I loved your first one.
Yes, it's really pretty much your fault. Yes, because you inspired me. Yeah, it's super fun. It's given me a reason to go buy bigger beads.
Mm-hmm.
But also, the thing is, so the dirty little secret about my warehouse here, I'm just outside of Austin, Texas.
Yeah.
Little town called Pflugerville, spelled PF.
I know. Every time you write out the name of your city, I'm like, dang, can I live in Pflugerville?
I know. It's really weird. But I have this huge warehouse, and I've been in the business for almost 20 years now. And you just keep getting offered all these opportunities, and I can't say no to opportunities, and so I have just oodles of beads that have just never even made it onto my website because we just don't have time to
Yeah.
add everything. And
Yeah.
especially, once I started taking trips to the Czech Republic and I've been to China on a buying trip and, that kind of thing. So I needed a way that I could sell off some of the stock that's here that is literally just growing cobwebs,
Yeah.
and doing it
Fun
on
thing
the
about
Facebook
beads is they don't
Live.
go bad.
Yep. Doing it on the Facebook Lives, I don't have to spend as much time like on photographs and there's not as much information. It's just it takes me 5 minutes to list something for a Facebook Live as opposed to taking me an hour to list something for the
Mm-hmm.
regular website.
Yeah, it's a huge
So
difference.
yeah, so I'm super excited about getting these gorgeous beads that I have into somebody's hands.
Yeah, it's kind of fun. Also, you've been showing some of those beads you bought years back, like on your China trip, and like the nice thing actually with gems is sometimes they actually become better over time.
Yeah.
Because some of those things like you can't necessarily find right now.
For sure. The quality keeps going downhill, right? So the stuff that I bought was from 4 years ago, was when I was in China, almost exactly 4 years ago. So even in that time frame, and one of the nice things about having gone to China to purchase those things is that I was able to pick them out from really high quality vendors. The one place that I got most of my gemstones from, the woman who owned it, she actually goes out into the field and she picks the slabs that her stones are going to be cut from. So she's super detailed on, exactly getting the best quality material and then getting the best cuts.
That's cool.
Yeah. So it was really interesting hearing about her process. And again, it just, when you hear those stories, you then appreciate the gems so much more.
Yeah, I mean, it was I really enjoyed Tucson this year. Like, it was like a really great social year. Like, I went 2 years prior, and like with Jesse, and like it just there wasn't the same sort of.
Well, it was COVID, yeah.
It wasn't as happening. We also didn't have enough time, so like this time we had basically a full week there, and like so we had got to have dinner with you and lunches and evenings, and Jill came out to we did a kind of a live make and take sort of event, and Jill came out and hung out with us, and it was just so lovely.
And I got to hear you sing.
I did sing a couple songs that night.
We got enough alcohol in you.
I sang along to recorded piano tracks is the best I could come up with.
Well, it was a wonderful treat. And that's the thing about going to those events is I got spoiled in the old days because we had bead shows every month all over the country, and you would just travel from place to place. Okay, so the last one that I made, I was so busy talking to Sam that I forgot to put my chain in. I made a perfect little loop.
Show us what you're doing. I think I'm so wrapped up in my own wrapping that I don't know what you're doing.
Well, I'm making the chain of dangles. So I've only gotten 2 done so far because my third one I forgot to put actually on the chain, and I'm doing wrapped loops.
Who needs that step?
That's right. That's going to be for something other project.
Exactly. It's called prep work.
I meant to do that. But yeah, so that's what I miss so much about as everything moves to online is I miss the social aspect of going to the bead shows and seeing people in person. And so I think Tucson this year really hit that mark for me in a way that I haven't felt for years.
I mean, we both ended up extending our trip because I think we were both really enjoying the whole vibe and how good the shopping was this year.
Yeah, it was.
I mean, it's been doing, and then that's also why I started the live sales in the first place. It's just like
It's an excuse to
it's
shop.
it's a way to bring that feeling of being at an in-person bead shop with the social element and getting to kind of feel and touch the beads in a way, to kind of to the internet.
Yeah. And I think that back and forth interaction is so important. And like I said, I have super duper been missing it. And so I'm looking for lots of opportunities to do more interaction with people on Facebook, with people on YouTube, wherever I can find them. And then, of course, opportunities like this where we get to, use our friendship as an excuse to come hang out together.
And every time I see you and Neely talking about meeting up, I'm just like, wait, I can get on a plane.
You can get on a plane too? Oh my God.
I can buy plane tickets. Thank you.
All right. Well, I actually have to talk to Neely because he's going to come visit me, and there's a possible problem with the date, and so we may have to refigure our date, but we'll have to see if we can't get you involved too.
Because I don't know the last time I've been out to Texas, Jill.
Well, and I do have like this whole film studio and opportunity for us to do videos in my film studio.
Well, that sounds like fun.
Go out and have margaritas out on the lake.
Oh, now we're talking.
Yeah, I can show you boys a good time in Austin, Texas. Now, of course, the trick is that it's going to be 100 degrees,
We will stay inside.
Okay. Oh, doggone it. Look, I did it again.
Oh, sorry. I'm distracting.
Okay, well, see, I have a pair of earrings done now. There you go.
Look at you go. And actually,
yeah, look at me.
And there are people who will only wear single bead earrings like that.
For a long time, I was that person. And lately, I've really been appreciating the dangles. I really have. Of course, it's kind of the trend especially with bead weaving, doing some fringe earrings is like the hottest thing these days. Actually, that's what I'm wearing right now. This was one of my video tutorials that I released, I don't know, probably 2 or 3 months ago.
Will you hold that up so we can admire your beautiful work?
And it goes with the palette and everything. So
is that we can watch soon?
Yeah, that's actually on YouTube right now. I called these the flirty fringe earrings. See, I can do cutesy names too. Mr. Groovy Bead. So I've really been enjoying the longer earrings all of a sudden. I actually went for, I don't know, 6-7 years where I could not wear earrings because one of the things about getting older is that your pierced holes can grow together sometimes. And so I could no longer get an earring through there. And so I stopped wearing them and I stopped designing them because I couldn't wear them. And I finally got brave and went and got my ears re-pierced. And so now I'm kind of going nuts with the earrings again.
Mm-hmm. About once a year, I'm just like, I get very close. So very close.
Okay, I have a new goal for when you come to Texas. We're going to get your ears pierced.
Okay, I'm so glad you didn't just say, I'm going to pierce your ears.
No.
That's what Tracy Proctor just about offered on Monday.
No, but I will take you to a piercer and get them done. But none of this going to the mall where they use the gun thing. That's too difficult on your. It's too painful for your skin because it's. Yeah, no. If you go to an actual piercer at a tattoo studio, that's the way to go.
That's the recommendation I've heard because as a gemstone lover, like I would love some little studs or just something simple to start.
A stud for this. Tell you what, if you get your ears pierced, I will make you some earrings.
I've never had such a good bribe. What an enticing offer.
I'll make you more than one pair even. How about that?
Wow.
We can
So,
wait. I got it. So we're going to spend the whole weekend making you earrings and then get you drunk on margaritas at the on the lake, and then we're going to take you and get your ears pierced.
and then I can't wear any of these earrings for like 6 weeks, and then
Yeah,
I'll really enjoy them.
exactly. Yeah, you have to wear the cute little baby studs first.
Okay, so you told me the most fascinating story about how you got into beading. What have you? How much of that story have you? I'm assuming you've shared that story over time.
Yeah, it yeah, it was just a total accident that I got involved in beading, actually. I was at a quilt show, for goodness sakes.
Oh,
Um, yeah, so I worked in the high tech industry, and I was kind of crafty, but not, didn't spend a lot of time doing stuff. I just kind of never found the thing that really I loved. And then one day I actually herniated a disc in my back. And so I had really bad back problems for about 6 years. And I finally had to break down and have spinal fusion surgery
oh wow.
because I was at the point where I could no longer work. Like I was going to have to go on long-term disability. And they were like, we're not really sure what's wrong with you. This is the only thing that we can offer you. We think it's got the best chance. And so I went for it. And the good news is that I woke up from the surgery in the recovery room and I knew it had been a success. Because while I had surgical pain, my back pain was all of a sudden gone. It was just like magic. But it takes a really long time to get better from that. So I was out of work for 6 weeks. And so I was trying to build up my stamina towards the end of that so I could go back to work. And my mom was like, well, there's a quilt show in Houston. And at the time we lived about 2.5 hours from Houston. Why don't we just go make it a day trip? We're going to drive down to Houston. We're going to go walk the quilt market. We just kind of we appreciate the art of quilts. We don't quilt, but I can enjoy, what it looks like.
Oh, Jill,
And
I didn't connect it.
what?
I didn't connect it. I didn't.
See, we can't
I was
walk
so
and talk at
enamored by
the
your
same
story.
time.
I was the one telling the story.
I love it. Oh, you're too funny. So we went down to Houston and we were just going to walk around. And all of a sudden, I turned the corner and there was an entire aisle called the embellishment aisle. And it was all beads. And I swear to God, the clouds parted and the birds started singing. And and it was such a Mary Poppins kind of moment. And I probably spent an hour and a half, 2 hours going down that aisle. And I was that person that we all are at a bead show for the first time. Like you see
It's
you pick up a strand of
too
beads
much.
and you're trying to figure out like how you put it on because you think it's a necklace. You know? And you don't understand that that's like temporary stranding just for you to buy the beads. Yeah, so I was totally that person. And
Oh, so you really had not found beading yet at your
at
first. Usually,
all.
most go to a bead show have at least dabbled first.
Yeah, no, I was a total neophyte. And I actually did buy beads that day, and they were seed beads even.
Oh my goodness.
I actually have the receipt for my very first bead purchase that day. It's framed in my office. So I can actually pinpoint the day that I found beads. And one of the
Wow.
things that I did was I bought a little kit to make a peyote pin. And the woman said, well, it's not really a beginner kit. It doesn't tell you how to do peyote. It's just the pattern. And I'm like, well, can I look it up on the internet? And she's like, well, yeah. And I'm like, okay, fine. And then I'm good. I totally failed. I could not learn peyote to save my life.
Oh my gosh, I'm getting flashbacks to my peyote products that I was texting you about.
Yes, that's one of the things I was thinking of when you texted me those. And so I finally got brave enough to go find my local bead store. And this is the funniest part, is that I walked into that store and my jaw kind of dropped to the floor. And because I took a lap around the entire store. Like there was a table in the center, and so I walked around the entire exterior and then walked right back out the door. I didn't touch anything. I didn't open a drawer. My heart was beating so fast that like I was like, I need to go somewhere and calm down. And I swear to God. And there was a Mexican food restaurant right next door in the shopping mall. And so I went to the Mexican food restaurant and I ate and calmed down. And an hour later, I went back into the store and I probably spent 3 hours there. And I started signing up for every class that they offered. And that's how I became addicted to beads.
Do you remember where, like, what started? What sort of techniques you started with?
I do. My very first class was a loom class.
Cool.
And then the second class was a 3-dimensional right angle weave class.
Oh my goodness.
Which is like one of the hardest things that you could possibly do.
That sounds very tricky.
But I was so clueless. I had no idea that was going to be hard. And by the time, I don't know, the class was halfway through, I was helping the people next to me. And now I look back at that and I think, oh yeah, as a teacher, I can always tell people when new people are natural beaters. Like they just get it instantly. And so now I understand why like the manager of the store started trying to hire me basically right away. Because she saw from interaction with me in these classes that I was a natural beater. And so it was 2 years later before I finally quit my day job and came and word got out on the street like within, I don't know, probably a week of me quitting my day job.
Yeah.
I ran into the manager of the bead store at a bead show. There was an Interjam bead show there. And she was like, I heard you quit your day job. And I said, yeah. And she says, so you're going to come work for me, right? And I'm like, yeah. And she's like, okay, well, we probably need to sit down first because I need to try to talk you out of it first, tell you all the reasons you don't want to come work for the bead store. And she was serious. Like, that's what she did, is she tried to talk me out of it. And I was like, no, I really want to do this. And she's like, okay, you're hired. She was just trying, I think she was just saying that it was a heavy duty customer service job. And so, because one of the things that we did at our bead store was, we would assist people actually making things. There's a lot of bead stores out there who won't necessarily help with the functional making things.
Yeah.
Where we did minor repairs. If we could do it quickly, we would do minor repairs right on the spot, things like that. So you just have to really be ready to be that super solicitous person who's going to help the customer that walks in the door.
But that's like my favorite thing, because I was in a bead store the other day, just like I just love seeing like what is out there.
Yeah.
So I went back to one of my favorite bead stores I used to go to like after school. Before the pandemic, they had a community table, and so I would like go there and like make myself a bracelet or something, and it was just like such a nice, easy activity, and had everything you need. So I didn't have to bring anything. So often I'd bring a few beads, and then I'd get all the findings and grab them. So usually some soft flex was usually the main stringy wire they had, and like it was great, and they had tools. It was easy, and the table was gone for the last 3 years until I walked back in that store like two weeks ago.
Yeah.
The table was back.
Ooh, yay.
So I didn't even know I was going to go into that store that day. I was just happened to be in the area. And I was browsing and I saw a couple of people working at the table, and me being nosy, they were trying to ask the person running the shop like some help with crimping and whatnot, and she was at that moment the only person at the store, and like a rush had just come in. So I was like, you know what, I can help them out, don't worry. And I sat down with them and like went over basic crimping technique, but then of course it devolved into like they were asking all these questions for like just design wise.
Yeah.
And that's what really gets me excited. I was like, oh, I love that you've picked out these metallic elements. Do you think if you add more, like make that more intentionally part of the design? And so like it was just fun getting to like see their designs evolve and then help them out with their crimps. And it was just fun. I was just like, I missed that, getting to do those, because they had all these like, oh, but what if I want to do this? I was like, all right, I guess we can try this. And it's like, it's just fun.
Oh yeah, for sure. Well, and people tend to feed off each other.
Yeah.
You know, so that whole in-person thing is just so awesome. Did you ever do in-person bead store, like work at a bead store?
Did I? I mean, I think it's no, but I'm just like making sure I'm not missing anything, because I feel like I have an in-person job.
Yeah, because you're so old and you've had so many jobs you can't remember. Give me a break.
Hey, you know what, Jill? I think I know the shop we've always done online. I'm trying to remember if there's anything else. I've sold my jewelry at a couple shows in the past.
Yeah.
Mainly was like, especially when I was a lot younger, I did like Hanukkah fairs at my Instagram. And I did great. It was fun. And there's actually some people like still on who are in the bead shop community now who I remember supported me then. And I mean, because that's why I have such a close-knit community at the shop. It's just because like I've been doing it in some form for 10 years now.
Yeah.
So like Shira, who runs Gem Chat, like she's been in the shop since 2014.
Wow.
Which is crazy because like I didn't do the shop super consistently the last 10 years because depending on what schooling was, Juilliard was a little bit busy.
Yeah, I bet.
I did run the shop for a little bit my first year because I needed it was New York and it was expensive.
Yeah.
And that was fun. I was like shipping orders from like literally Lincoln Center overlooking the Met. It was wild.
That is so cool.
Let's see it. I want some chain. And yeah, I guess I never have done tons of in-person bead things until more recently.
Well, hopefully, I think that we've been virtual long enough that people are remembering how much they miss the whole in-person thing. I noticed that Bead Fest is starting to do more shows again. And I think that you're probably going to see some more Tucson action. Tucson this year really just blew my mind because I was not expecting it to be that vibrant with vendors and people and all that kind of stuff. So I'd love to see more classes there. So I think there's going to be more opportunity for that kind of thing coming up.
Yeah, I mean, you used to teach a ton of classes at shows, didn't you?
Oh yeah.
That was your thing.
There's a part of me that misses it, but there's also a part of me that feels like I did 10 hardcore years. At the end with Bead and Button, my last 3 years, I think, at Bead and Button, I was teaching 13 classes in 14 days. Whoa. And it wasn't, there's the tiredness from being at the show and nonstop talking and all that, because I'm really actually an introvert, and so I can turn on being an extrovert in a situation like that, but it really takes a lot out of me. Yep. And so after 14 days of that intensive socialization, I would have to go check myself into a hotel room for a couple of days where I didn't have to speak a word to anybody. I usually didn't have a voice by the end of that anyway. And so that was kind of a little much. But the other part that was really difficult about that was prepping all the kits for 13 classes ahead of time. So it was, hard work going into it. And then you had the 2 hard weeks and then, collapse. So I would never do it at that level again anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I might teach a couple of classes because it's fun and because I miss the interaction with students, but I will never do a full-time teaching gig kind of thing like that again. I just, as you get older, your tolerance for that kind of thing just tends to fade, and I don't think I could keep up with it anymore. Or I
Yeah,
don't want to. Maybe it's even just that I don't want to.
yeah. I mean, I mean, at that point, it was just became such. Sounds like it became such a demand.
Yeah. Well, and that's definitely something else, is that I was doing all that before my YouTube channel really took off.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, now I could teach 50 classes at a show and there'd still be more people who wanted to sign up for the classes. You know what I mean? Like,
Well,
there's
that's like what's so cool about your YouTube channel is everyone gets to learn from you.
exactly. Yeah. And it's a way for me to teach to people who can't afford to come to classes, or maybe they're in different countries, or
Mm-hmm.
that kind of thing, because I definitely get a lot of that, people from different countries. um, I and realizing I had somebody who posted a comment one day on one of my YouTube videos that has always struck me. She said that she had made that project, and now I can't remember which project it is. I think it was my fireworks necklace. She had made that necklace for her wedding in South Africa. And I just thought, what a privilege it is for me to, from my little spot here in Austin, to be a part of her wedding in South Africa. That was just such a personal thing. And I've never gotten over that. And it just, YouTube gave that to me, the ability to have that moment with her.
That's so beautiful.
Yeah, I really am one of the luckiest people out there to have found my niche, because not everybody does. Well, and I should also say, found my niche and been able to pursue it.
Yeah. I mean, you do such a good job with the videos that it makes sense that it has taken off. I'm so glad it has for you.
Yeah. Well, just even before the videos, even when I was a national teacher, traveling around to the bead shows and the bead societies, as I was building my name in the industry, there were probably 5 years there where I didn't make any money. I mean, I would make just enough to just barely pay my expenses. At the end of the year, every year, I'd look at my bank account and I'd have like $3 left. And I'd be like, okay, this is it. I'm going to have to go back to the real world. I have to start looking for a job in January. And then something would happen, just some money would suddenly come in, and it would be, or an opportunity would come in, and it would be just enough to keep me going for the next year. And that happened each time that I got to that point of quitting. But like I never would have been able to do this had I not been living with my mother, and she was supporting me. She was paying my rent. I wasn't paying rent to her. She was feeding me. So it's a very difficult business to break into unless you've got somebody else supporting you financially.
Okay, this is our Mother's Day themed stream, so I think this might be our moment to shout out.
Yeah, for our mamas.
A little bit of love to the mamas.
Heck yeah.
And our mamas.
Yeah. So my mom is 76 now, and she still works for me 5 days a week. Well, and actually she works at home also on the weekends processing things. So I guess she actually works more than 5 days a week. But yeah, I mean, for the last 10 years, she's been my everything. And prior to that, she was supporting me. She might be on the live watching. She said she was going to watch until she couldn't stand me talking anymore.
I shout out to June.
You got to have somebody who keeps you honest, right?
Well, my parents, I found out, sometimes will like pull up like a video of Rachel and I's. They'll like if some like people are over,
yeah,
they'll like pull up like the official unboxing for the most recent bead box.
Aww.
And like and they'll all watch like the first chunk of it together, which I'm just like, at first I was just like, why would you watch that? But they're just so supportive and like love seeing how seeing the business thrive and all the ideas Rachel and I come up with and what the team is up to here. And
Well, and I think that's something, I think that's a secret to our success is that we have supportive families. I mean, the fact that you've got Rachel now there with you is
Mm-hmm.
awesome. You know, when you've got a sibling or a parent, there's a shorthand that you have, you know, like you know how each other thinks and what they're good at and when they're not good at. Uh, Shoot, my mom even about 3 o'clock today, she looked at me and she went, "Have you eaten today?" And I said, well, I've been snacking." And she's like, "You need to eat something before you go on that live at 5 o'clock." And I'm like, "Yes, ma'am."
It's
So, you know,
so curious how it's different because like me work with Rachel, like sibling relationship is like very different than a mother-daughter relationship.
true.
And I just like that I'm so fascinated to if I could ever get a glimpse into what the day-to-day actually looks like.
My mom is kind of my caretaker. She's my right hand. She's the one who keeps things going out in the main part of the warehouse. I have an office, a separate office, because I'm ADHD and I can't concentrate on my own stuff if I'm concentrating on what everybody else is doing.
Yeah, I understand.
So, so she ends up being that person out there in the warehouse who's kind of keeping her eye on everything. We're trying to get it to where she can maybe take some more time off. Our original plan had been for her to retire at the end of last year, and that hasn't really worked out. Um, but we're working towards it.
Yeah, seem like you're always up to something together.
Yeah. Well, you know, part of the thing is that we live together and we're best friends. So we're just basically, you know, 24/7 we're together. And that can be a good thing and it can be a bad thing. But for us, I think it's been mostly good.
That is so sweet. I love that so much.
I
Hmm.
have an earring.
Let's see. Oh, you want to see?
Ooh. Oh, I'm going to enjoy wearing these.
Well, those are fancy. See, you made an intentional cluster. I just
Yeah.
started putting any bead from what you gave me onto a chain without a plan, and I just and yeah, and here we are. I think when it's hanging this way, like downwards, it looks a little better, but it's a little bit of a party here.
I like it.
So the other ones I made are a little bit simpler and a little bit more usually my style. Look how that dichro glass hits the light. I believe Jill has some of the extras on her live sale website. What's the link to that?
That is jwdlive.com.
Okay, so like Jill Wiseman Designs, Jill what JWD
Live.
live.
Yeah. And I do have some new shapes coming up for my next live, which is going to be next Wednesday now. It was supposed to be this afternoon, and then I had the computer meltdown, and so now we've postponed that.
But we are looking forward to it. It's Wednesday, right? You said?
Yes, Wednesday at 2:00 Central Time, 2:00 Central. Here, let me switch my camera so that.
Oh wow! Where did that hour go?
Woohoo!
My goodness.
There you are again.
That's crazy. Okay, I guess I will leave my earrings. I have 2.5 pairs of earrings. I will.
You did good.
That's not bad, honestly. I did one more ambitious one, so that's why it's only halfway there.
I'm gonna try on my earring and see how it looks here. Oh yeah, I like it.
Oh, you look so fancy, Jill.
I'm thinking I might want to put another ruby chip kind of up at the top of the chain there, connected to the ear wire. So I think I'm going to make that one little edit because I want to bring that red up again a little bit.
See that. I mean, they're gorgeous as is also. They're lovely.
I'm super excited. I was when I opened my package, I have to admit, my eye went straight to that ruby. And I was like, that's my baby right there.
Yeah, those ruby pebbles, they're kind of a fun little find because getting gemstones as more of like the nugget form is often so much cheaper because it's usually made from some of the leftovers.
For sure.
So if you're like, I have someone who's never tried working with emerald, ruby, sapphire, I try to mix in some of those as like non-standard shapes, more of your nuggets and chips, so you can still incorporate them into a piece and look how beautiful of a piece you can still make with them.
Oh, for sure. And then you have the cachet of saying, yes, these are my ruby earrings.
Exactly.
You know?
Exactly. You have your July birthstone already set, Jill.
Now I'm gonna have to move my birthday to July.
Well,
I'm January from Garnet, so this is close.
That's not far off.
Yeah.
Wait, when is your birthday?
January 19th.
Okay. Wow. We have our half birthday's almost the same.
Oh, see?
I think you have the same half birthday, or you are the half birthday for Sarah Lovecraft, because Neela, Sarah, and I all have like our birthday in the same week in July.
Oh, party!
I think you share a half. I think you are a half birthday for one of us. I'm pretty sure.
Well, I just have to be a little bit opposite. You got to balance scales, balance you off.
This was so much fun, Jill. I could make earrings all day long with you.
I know. Well, and I'm going to work on getting you down here to Austin.
Well, in the meantime, more of this, please. This is so fun.
Yeah, for sure.
I actually have to run to a doctor's appointment to get a checkup on my nose. Jill saw it ages ago when it was still like a little bit more. Whoa, what's going on with his nose?
Yeah. Like, who's been biting on your nose?
It was a dog. For folks who don't know what happened, it was a dog.
Don't know the story, yeah.
So I'm gonna go get my checkup. I will see all of you so soon. So let's see. What's the next thing you have coming up? It will be Wednesday.
Wednesday, yep.
Okay, so then I think the next thing at Sam's Bead Shop would be Tuesday. We have Tuesday, Thursday when we do our lives. Jill was very kind, and she often is doing her lives on Wednesday, Fridays, just so make sure you can always attend the live sales.
We should not make people choose between the two of us.
I would never want to ask such of folks.
That way I can still pop in occasionally on your lives and say, hey.
Absolutely. I saw you pop in on when Neela and I were doing the little class together. It was so nice to see you. Oh, the other thing I wanted to mention is, especially for Jill's folks who haven't heard about Sam's Bead Box yet, like if you are looking for some monthly fun, now is definitely the time to get signed up, because we're shipping the April box like a week from today, and we come up with a whole theme for every single month. Check glass, gems, usually tiara cast, and it's a lot of fun.
So, you guys do an amazing job of curating all of the colors and everything with those boxes. Really nice job.
It's a big challenge. It's a lot of fun. So we have a few slots right now. We would love to give those slots to some folks who are interested. Shelly says, do I ship to Canada? Yeah, I ship to Canada. Jill and I both ship, I think, pretty much everywhere.
Yep.
So definitely check out Jill's website, jillweissmandesigns.com, and then check out samsbeadshop.com. Samsbeadbox.com is for the bead box. I think that's all the main things for now, Jill.
All right. Well, we'll just have to plan the next one.
I'm already on it, and my head's spinning.
Okay.
Thank you so much for doing this, Jill. It was such a pleasure.
Same here.
All right, I'll see you soon.
All right.